Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Marketing Essentials webinar. Get my little clicker here working right. We'll be good to go. Here we go. First, before we get started, I want to take a second to say thank you to Automated Business Solutions. They've provided us the space today for us to broadcast this webinar from. A little bit about Automated Business Solutions. They're a office solutions provider of choice for companies ranging from home-based to Fortune 500. They provide superior service and advanced office solution technology at a reasonable price. Before we get going too far, I want to remind you to hover your mouse down at the bottom of your screen. There will be a black bar. For those of you who are not kicked out, there'll be a black bar, and on that black bar, you will see a chat icon. I ask that you, at this time, click on that chat icon. It will open up a chat box to the right of your screen, and that will be what we use throughout the webinar today to answer any questions you may have. Please, as the questions come up, feel free to type them into that chat box, and we will try to answer as many as we can towards the end of the webinar. Also, a quick reminder, please stick around till the end because we have a very cool special offer for those of you who have attended today. So without further ado, let me get into some introductions. Firstly, I am Bill Parmentier. I am the owner of W. Parmentier Photography. I have been, a little bit about me is I have been a photographer pretty much since high school. I love to tell stories through my images, and even more so now with video. I've been doing a lot more of that. I specialize in commercial portraiture, drone photography, and videography. With me today is Alicia Piazza, owner of Custom Marketing Solutions. They provide local businesses with a unique digital marketing solutions. She has over 8 years of experience in media buying, event marketing, social media, and digital marketing. Also with me is Justin Kerr from Justin Kerr Design. He owns a design consultancy focusing on web and print design, identity development, and branding, excuse me. He helps his clients successfully position and market themselves both online and in print. So that's basically your presenters for today. And we're going to get started with me here, where I'm going to talk a little bit about photography and imagery, primarily imagery, with your website and social media channels. But please bear in mind that any of these images can also be replaced with video, and in some cases it's actually better to use video because Google ranks you a little bit higher than images. So to get started, let's talk about the important role that videography and photography play in your business and marketing strategy. So you've heard it said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm here to tell you today that a picture is worth 1,000 sales. Properly branded and optimized imagery can actually bring in more sales than you would originally suspect. According to a recent Nielsen study, you have about 5 to 7 seconds to make an impression on your viewer before they decide to stay or go. Images and video are the perfect way to capture and hold your viewers' attention. A surefire way to increase website traffic is through proper image optimization. Google states that 63% of all Google images that are viewed result in the viewer moving on to the website of origination. Add to that 65% of our population consider themselves visual learners, and you'll see the importance of photography and video on your website and social media channels. Lastly, proper photography and videography will help you to enhance your brand identity. So why is it important to use good photography and videography? Let's break down the importance into 3 steps here. One is properly optimized photos and videos can improve your SEO. Images are critical in the marketing of your business. And thirdly, proper visuals will fit in line with your business's branding. So let's start with optimizing SEO. Before we go too far into that, let's get a basic definition of what SEO is. It is commonly known as SEO, or search engine optimization. To break it down, it basically is the process of affecting the online visibility of a website or a web page in the search results of Google or Bing. So how do we work on getting ranked higher in the search engines? Well, one way is through properly optimized photos and videos. So first thing we have to do is typically look at how someone would go and search for your business. First, you will see here that Google kind of owns the lion's share of the business as far as search engines. 59.3% of all searches in the web in the United States come through google.com. This is when someone searches on a specific keyword, whether it be photographer or web design. That's what they would put it through, would be google.com. Surprisingly enough, though, Google Images captures 26.79% of all US web searches. So all said and done, over 86% of all searches happen through Google. So how do we optimize our imagery so that Google will find it best? Well, let's start with site loading and speed issues. It's all happened to us. You go to a website, most likely on your phone, and all of a sudden, bam, this is what you see, that wonderful loading signal, image, excuse me. Typically, what this is because the image is so large, it just cannot load quickly. I'll go back to the fact that I said that 5 to 7 seconds is about what you have to impress your viewer. If it takes 3 or 4 seconds, or even, God forbid, 10 seconds for that photo to load, what has happened? You've probably lost that customer at the point. And if the image is not loaded, optimized properly, Google will also start to rank it lower in their SEO rankings. On the other hand, a properly optimized image will come up fairly quickly. So what is a properly optimized image? Well, it's typically something that is less than a megabyte in size. That's fairly small. To put it into perspective, your average iPhone takes about an 8 to 12 megapixel photo, which is basically 8 to 12 times larger than you typically need for social media or for websites. Now, you could, one way to fix that problem would be to take it into an editing program, whether it be Photoshop or Lightroom, or I think even Windows Picture Viewer allows you to make the file a little bit smaller. But if you're not sure how to do that, you can get a hold of a professional that can help you to optimize that image properly. So how do you optimize? Let's review this real quick here. First, you want to condense your photos. Well, that means shaving your photos down to social media quality. They don't have to be large enough to make a billboard or a 14 by 26 print. Most people are going to be viewing this on their desktop or on a phone, so the image quality doesn't have to be that high. So smaller images will load faster, which again will jump you up in SEO. The next thing you want to do is look at metadata. Well, that's just a fancy word of making sure that the photo has the proper title tagging for it. What is the proper title tagging? Well, that's a brief and accurate description of the photo. Also, you want to look into alt tagging. We'll talk about alt tagging a little bit more in a second, but let's talk about the title for a second. Title tagging for SEO. Now, typically when you take a photo with a camera or with your phone, it's going to come up something like this. The phone will automatically assign a generic title. In this case, you see DSC1113.jpg. Now, if you were to put this on your website without any naming conventions, Google really wouldn't know what to do with it. It really doesn't let you know too much about the photo. So even if you kept the size of the photo down to a manageable size that would load really quickly, Google Images would still rank it fairly low. Now, in our second example, it's the exact same photo, but you'll notice that it has a good title to it, San Antonio Riverwalk, Texas. So what this means is that if somebody is searching this by the word San Antonio or Texas or Riverwalk, more than likely, if it's optimized properly, it will show up in Google Images, which then increases the possibility of them going on further to your website. Alt tagging for SEO. Now, alt tagging kind of serves two purposes. First purpose would be for somebody who has disabilities that can't see very well. the alt tagging allows their reader to be able to read a description of what the photo is. So if you go back to our image earlier that said the DSC description, that's not going to tell anybody that's just listening to try to find out what the photo is, what it truly is. It also gives the, should the photo not be able to load up for some reason, it gives the viewer an understanding of at least what the photo is supposed to look like. In this case, it says San Antonio River Walk, Texas. You can also add a few more things if you wanted to make it even that much more descriptive. Next thing I want to talk about is images and marketing. There are a lot of ways to market with images, and I could do a whole webinar on that alone. But obviously we don't have that kind of time. So today I'm just going to go over just a few of the ways to use your images in marketing. Firstly, you can use behind-the-scene photos. These help to give your potential client a sneak peek into what goes on in your day-to-day business. It also helps your potential customers to feel invested in your business. It can also help to educate your customers a little bit what goes on into the production of your product or service. Another way to do that is also through images that represent new products and new services. This works particularly well when you use these as a sneak peek on your company's social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, etc. It's a great way to point them back to your website. You could even take it a step further by doing a contest or a giveaway in conjunction with the new sneak peeks. And finally, staff and headshots. These can be done to fit within your company's branding standards. Now, I have 3 different styles here. There are a little bit more than that, but these are the 3 basics you would see at this point on the majority of websites. Firstly is your traditional headshot. It's typically a neutral background of some sort, fairly flat lighting, your typical business headshot. The second one is an environmental style headshot. These are great if you're a business that has something that you want to have in the background that stands out to show what you're about. By looking at this picture, you see that the woman that's in the picture probably has something to do with the airline industry of some sort or an airport. So it gives you a good indication of what they do. And then finally, the non-traditional. More and more websites nowadays are using a non-traditional type of headshot. This kind of gives it a kind of a fun aspect, gives you a little bit of a look into what the company's culture is like, and also some of the fun people that may be part of that business. It also helps when it comes to imaging and branding. So the question is, how can images fit within your company's branding standards? Well, here I'd like to show you a little picture of a photo that does a really good job of branding standards. In this one you see, obviously it's a Ford Mustang. The style of imagery here makes you think, oh, sleek, fast, muscle car. In it also is the very recognizable Ford Mustang logo, which is front and center. I'm going to show you a little case study now of UC Berkeley, who has a very clear and specific branding guidelines for their imagery. First and foremost, they have a standard that all of their photos should be light and airy, using natural light as much as possible. They break it down into 3 specific categories. Firstly is topical. Topical photos, it basically is best way to capture what the impact and passion unique to Berkeley. So these photos are directly related to the content as being communicated. Secondly is cultural images. For UC Berkeley, this means capturing something that is unique to Berkeley. Or as they put it, gives them their Berkeleyness. Whether it's their quad area or their big game rally, these photos help to shape and show who the people and places that make Berkeley the place it is. And finally, historical photos. UC Berkeley looks to capture historical aspects that have gotten them to where they are today. Now, typically with UC Berkeley, you won't see them using these historical images as a primary form of photography, but they'll use them in supporting roles to kind of show where the legacy of UC of them and where they land. Another way to use imaging is as a reflection of your business's personality. I have two examples here, but obviously there are more than just the 2 you see here. Firstly is a humorous style of imagery. Here you can clearly see that Pepsi is poking fun through the image of the straw not wanting to go into what is clearly a Coca-Cola can. So it makes it kind of a funny thing. On the right, you have a Dos Equis ad, which is the most interesting man in the world. And it gives you more of that sophisticated look, makes you want to feel as though you want to be this man. So they do a great job of using the imagery to fit with their branding standards. So now that we have all the imaging in place, what do we do with it? Well, you need to find a way to market that in order to get people to go to your website. And a great way to do that is through social media. So at this time, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Alicia Piazza and give her a chance to explain to you the best ways to do that.
Hi, everyone. So I want to talk to you today about something we do for all our social media clients, which is paid advertising on social. And I primarily want to talk about paid advertising on Facebook, Instagram, in the ads network. And this first slide here talks about marketing to 79% of the population. And what that percentage is representing is the percentage of people who have a Facebook profile right now. So 79% of people are on Facebook, and that's just one social media platform. So why paid ads? You may have a business Facebook page or Instagram account, and you're posting and you're reaching people. So why do you need to put money behind your paid social media ads? Well, first off, to go back to the numbers, there's 2 billion active users on Facebook alone right now. This is just one social media channel, guys. Your customers are on social media. And by using paid ads, you can reach new and larger audiences beyond your followers. The targeting on social media is absolutely phenomenal. So we give information to social media channels such as our age, location, what we're interested in, who we interact with. And as marketers and as business pages, we can use this targeting to have the right messages show up to the right people at the right time. There's multiple ways to use the venues. So you can do lead generation, increase your sales, brand awareness campaigns, increase engagement on your profiles, and more. In comparison to other advertising options, social media is incredibly cost-effective and affordable. And you can actually see real results in tracking when you set your social media ads up correctly. So we will get into this more. However, the number one reason, the real reason why we need to be using paid ads on social media right now, especially Facebook, and guys, Facebook and Instagram are co-owned, they are owned by one company, is because organic reach is dead. So over time, since 2012, Facebook has been on the decline for organic reach. If you've been on this social media channel for a while, you've seen your numbers in reach drop. And by what I mean with organic is your free posting that goes out on your business page. You're not putting money behind it. By no means do I mean to discontinue your organic posting, but your reach is declining, so why not do paid? Over the years, this graph shows from 2012 to 2014, we saw a reach decline from 16% to 6.5%, and studies currently show that you're maybe reaching 2 to 3% of your follower base. So to break it down in summary, if you have about 1,000 Facebook followers on your business page, each time you post, you may be reaching a small amount, so 20 or 30 people with each organic or free post. So with paid advertising, the question for me, or what I like to say, it's not really why do we need to be using paid social media ads, but why not? Now, what are paid ads on social? Right here, I have 3 examples and they show up in our feeds. So you clearly see that the ad will always say sponsored, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. They usually have a call to action. You are not following these business pages. They are targeting you. So, or you could be following them and they're doing a paid ad to kind of get a call to action out in front of you and lead you through to a landing page or a website or to engage with their Facebook page or Instagram profile. So a quick example of organic reach versus paid reach. On the left-hand side here, we have a post that we did for a client. She had a organic reach on this one for free. We just put it up on our page of 50 people. Same post, same format basically, and we put a small campaign budget behind this. It was about $35, $40 tops, and you can see that she targeted viewers, so people who were local to her business location, and I believe we targeted women since that's a great target audience for her. Now, how many people can you reach with social media paid ads? And it really comes down to the budget and how you set your ad up, so the objective that you choose. With this client, we ran a campaign for him, and the budget for this particular ad was $300. It was a little over 30 days, and he received 298 likes. He reached almost 20,000 people in the local area. So I think we did like a 5-mile radius of his business for his retail food pickup. So great branding and awareness there, with 600 people reacting and taking action on the ad. Now you're saying, it's great to get likes and engagement on my social media ads. When I'm paying, I can see results like this, but likes don't really pay the bills, right? So we need to see return on investment. How can I track what's actually working on social media when I put a paid budget behind the ad? In this example, we did an offer for that same client. He had 51 offer claims. The campaign here, he spent $36. So even if only half the people, or a little less than half the people, redeemed this offer, he would make $1,375 off of this campaign, plus his branding and exposure from this campaign. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to get more into return on investment, or ROI, farther on, but I wanted to show you that you can actually track your sales and results. So targeting your audience on Facebook and Instagram is really important. It's going to determine the success of your ad. So we first start with, this is by the way, screenshot right from the back end of Facebook when setting up your ads. You always want to think about your location. You can target by state, region, zip codes, towns, and Facebook will actually tell you the potential reach and how many people you're going to reach within your budget when you choose your location. The other thing we want to do when targeting is think about your key audiences for your business. Now, this is a marketing exercise that actually correlates to offline too. It's something, if you haven't done, I recommend doing as soon as possible. Think about your customers and put them into buckets. So this is called building your customer personas. Some people call them avatars, but essentially it's building out customer profiles of your top customers and putting them into buckets. So who are they? What gender? Where do they live? What are their hobbies, their work titles? What do they enjoy? Anything you know about your customers, the more you know, the better, because you can put these into profiles. And now we can target these people on social media. So again, a direct screenshot right from the back end of Facebook, and it shows just 2 examples to see how specific we can get with targeting on Facebook and Instagram. On the left, we have a vegetarian cat owner, and on the right, we have a online gambling, someone who's interested in online gambling, fantasy football, and gambling. So I do want to talk about results, seeing real results and return on investment. But before we go even farther with social media, I want to point out one awesome thing here. So when you look at your traditional media, can you run 2 different ads targeting in the newspaper, one targeting women and one targeting men? If you're running a radio campaign, can you go down to a 2-mile radius of your business? Or with a TV ad, can you see how the engagement is with the ad and answer real-time questions and comments on an ad? No, but with social media, you can. So even before we talk about return on investment, think about the options with social that outweigh some of the traditional options. So let's talk about real results. I showed you this example with the offer, how he had a return on investment by putting this campaign out for $36. And you may be asking, can I get the same type of results for $36? Or how much should I spend on ads? So think about the results you want to achieve. And think about your business. How much is a lead worth? What's the lifetime value of a customer? And how long does it take to convert a customer in your industry? Every business is different. So here's a customer, and this is again a screenshot directly from the back end of Facebook, and he had 49 leads from his Facebook campaign. It was about exactly $19.37 per lead. And this customer spent almost $1,000 within the month advertising on Facebook and Instagram. So that's a bigger budget. However, when we look at what he was trying to do, his customer value is much higher. He closed 10 sales, and this is about an average of $1,000 per sale. So with a $1,000 ad spend, he made $20,000 in revenue just by setting up his Facebook ads correctly and understanding how to use a budget to see results. That's a 20 times return on investment there, which is a great result, by the way. Now, that last client was tracking leads. This is a screenshot of online sales or e-commerce. So you can track exactly the monetary value of sales occurring from your Facebook advertising, Instagram, and this client had a total of $16,000 in sales. This is an e-commerce campaign from an agency in New Haven, a friend of mine, and she saw results for this client, 403 purchases on the website directly from Facebook advertising at an average of $5.53 per action the client was paying. And overall, they were able to close just over $16,000 in sales with a $2,000 ad spend. So the return on investment for this client is 8 times. So when you're setting your ads up properly, you can see these types of results. You can see exactly what is correlating into sales and leads for your business. But it comes down again to setting the paid ads up the right way. And now I'm going to talk to you about using Business Manager. So if you own a business Facebook page, you most likely get this notification or you see this boost post button under all your posts on your Facebook page. And it's asking you to boost the post or put money behind it. Guys, do not use this button. This is the gateway, I like to call it the gateway into Facebook advertising. It's a couple clicks and you're on your way to spending money with Facebook. However, when you're using this to boost or do your paid ads, you're missing out on so much. So I want to talk to you about that. Stay away from this boost button. Instead, you're going to use business.facebook.com. And this is called the Business Manager, Ads Manager, or sometimes referred to as Power Editor. And this is going to allow you to set your ads up by choosing different objectives. So again, a direct screenshot right from Facebook's backend. You'll have different ways to set your ads up and a ton of more options, tracking, and results are going to be very transparent. So this is an example, again, right from Facebook of active campaigns running for a client within Business Manager. If you boost the post, you do not get access to things like this. So with Business Manager, you can see the cost per click. You can see how many impressions you're getting. You can see the reach, the results. You can run multiple ad copies to compare and see what ad copy is performing, set up different audiences. It really is limitless. It's a bit overwhelming, but this is how a Facebook professional who's using paid ads correctly will set up their advertising within Business Manager. Now, if you're just getting started, you may want to try, I've started off here a couple options we like to use for our clients. And if you're just getting started, so the beginner options when setting up your ad objectives, I would go with reach, which is going to give you a larger audience, or some of those options in the middle column there from traffic to engagement to lead generation. The column on the right is a little bit more advanced, but something you can maybe work your way into or work with a social media professional to get there. And also at the top, I want to point out the way the columns are set up here. So Facebook has automatically divided our objectives into 3 different sets here, from awareness to consideration to conversion. So does that sound familiar? Does it sound like something so it is essentially setting up the, Facebook has taken the sales funnel, which is awareness to consideration to conversion, and set your ads up into 3 columns that correlate to the sales funnel. So everyone knows the sales funnel, old as time, and Facebook is helping you, guide you through the process by giving you different objectives that correlate to different phases in the sales funnel, awareness to consideration to conversion. So you can lead your customers right through the customer journey path. So Business Ads Manager, also a great benefit of using it is you're going to run your ad in multiple places at once. So you have one ad copy and it's going to go out on Instagram, the Facebook Ads Network, and Facebook all at once. I think it's about 16 different formats, something like that. On the left, you have a static image on the Ads Network. In the middle, you have an interstitial on the Ads Network. And on the right, you have an Instagram copy. Now you can edit your placements, what you prefer to do when using Business Manager, but it's nice to be able to have one ad and running multiple places all at once. Now the other awesome thing about Business Manager is there's so many ways to set your ads up. have a lot of fun with it. So once you have those professional photos in place, your products and your services, get them out on Facebook ads or Instagram. And right here, this is a carousel ad. Full disclosure, we did not create it, but I thought it was a pretty cool example. In addition to carousels, you can do dynamic ads, you can do mobile formats only, you can do video, and so on. There's tons of ways to set ads up. This is an example of a lead ad. So you can collect information right from Facebook. Auto-populates the name and email address into the form when someone clicks on it. So if you're not that great at landing pages, lead ads are a great way to collect customer info, leads, emails, and customer information. Now, the Facebook pixel is key in getting the tracking in place for your Facebook ads. So in the previous screens, you saw the sales that were occurring and the leads that were coming in. The Facebook pixel is going to be what tracks the results from your campaigns. So what this is, once you set up your business manager, you're going to go into pixels and you'll come to a screen like this. You'll be able to grab a code and place this on your website for tracking. And you'll see exactly how many page views and leads you're getting from your campaigns. So to wrap it up, guys, just real quick, what you need to be doing to get your paid ads working correctly for you and why you should be using them. It allows you to reach new audiences and larger audiences. Use your business manager when setting them up. Set your ad budget correctly. If you think you're going to get thousands of dollars in sales from a $50 ad spend, that's probably not going to happen. Choose interesting ad formats to stand out and install that Facebook pixel for data storage, tracking, and better results. If you need help with this, there are professionals who get these things started for you. So up next, we have my friend Justin Kerr of Justin Kerr Design. And I spoke to you about generating traffic to your website. Justin's here and he's going to talk to you about once you get that traffic to your site, attracting, informing, and engaging your audience for success.
Thanks, Alicia. Actually, you should just kept going. I mean, you probably do my presentation as well as I do. But yes, that's going to be talking in my part of this presentation about how to position your website to turn those visitors into customers. So we're going to be looking at two sites today that I've pulled all my examples from, one of which is Toggle, which produces a time tracking app. And I've been using it myself for a couple of years and I really like it. It's very simple. And the other site is a New York-based marketing firm called Big Duck. So attracting visitors to your site, as Bill said earlier, you have about 5 to 7 seconds after someone arrives on your site to compel them to stay on your site and engage with your content. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. One is through thoughtful design and the other is with quality images. So thoughtful design incorporates your branding. So your branding is not just your logo, but it's your color palette, it's your imagery, it's the tone of the content that's on your site. It includes a lot of aspects of what's on your site. And the design elements that exist on your site should be there to focus the attention of the visitor and not distract from them digesting your content. So Toggle does a really good job with thoughtful design. They have really crisp branding. They have a signature color, which is red, that they use very strategically to highlight key elements on their site. So either actionable items like sign up or trial, and also for bringing your attention to key pieces of content. So they do a very good job with their visual design. Their photography is nice and bright and crisp, and they do an excellent job in this regard. Quality images is another area where Toggle shines. So Bill said earlier that an image is worth 1,000 sales. I'll go a little further and say that one great image is more valuable than 100 good ones. So you want to be strategic with the images that you select or that you create. Now, that also includes video, and what you see when you get to Toggle's homepage is a looping video right at the top. And they do a really good job with tying this into their marketing. So they address the pain points of their target audience with all of these different things that go on within an organization that you need to track so that you can bill your clients. And what they've done is kind of clever. They've used kids and set up these scenarios so that it's engaging. And they cover several different scenarios. And the whole time there's this little timer running in front of you to sort of reinforce their marketing position of, hey, you can use our time tracking app to make all of this much simpler and less of a headache. So it tells a very compelling story, this 1-minute video. Matter of fact, when I first saw it, I think I watched it 4 or 5 times. So it definitely got my attention. They carry over this quality imagery to their testimonials, which is at the bottom of their homepage, and they continue the storytelling as well. So each one of these images is a real customer with a short testimonial, but the image reinforces the story that the text is telling. So again, they're doing a really good job with positioning themselves in regards to quality design and quality imagery. So a very attractive site. Informing your audience. So once you've convinced them to stay, now you want to present your content in a way that is easily digestible. So a couple of aspects here. One is your unique value proposition, and I'll get into that in a minute. Having bite-sized content on your site so that its pages are easy to scan, content is easy to digest, and it makes it easier for people to drill down into your site. And establishing yourself as an expert with your content. So your unique value proposition. That's a statement that describes what you do, who you do it for, and why it matters to your prospective clients. Toggle does a good job of this. They have a very clear, unique value proposition on their homepage. It's in 2 parts, a headline and a supporting statement. They highlight the fact that their product is very simple to use, very low threshold to get started with Toggle. They provide an action point where you can get started right away using it. And what they do, I think to take it to the next level, is they provide a little widget, a lifetime widget right above their UVP that shows you how long you've been on the site. And this is actually the interface for their timer. So they do a really good job at positioning this. Now, Big Duck, they do it a little differently. And actually, I think they do a really good job at parsing their unique value proposition throughout their whole site. And this is what I recommend all my clients do, that I advise in regards to their website. So on the homepage there on the left, you have a very short form of the unique value proposition. You get the idea right away what they do, who they do it for. Then they provide an action point right underneath that where you can click through and you can read a longer form of their positioning statement on their services page. It goes a little bit more into depth, and it also hooks you up with all the different services they provide. So they're not trying to do everything on their homepage. They're carefully guiding you through the site. The other thing that they do is that they provide a form of their UVP as a tagline in a universal position on their site. And so what that means is no matter where you land on their site, no matter what page you're on, you're going to see that tagline, and you're going to have a good idea right away what they do, who they do it for. Now, this makes their site very Google friendly. Google loves to see relevant content on multiple pages and cross-linked. So they're positioned themselves really well for Google, and they've also made a really good user experience for people that are visiting their site. Going back to Toggle for a moment, one of the things that you can do to evaluate your positioning statement is give it the grunt test. And what that is trying to look at it from the point of view of someone coming to your site for the first time. So if you were a caveman, very limited cognitive abilities, and you came to your site, would you be able to understand quickly and clearly what you do, who you do it for, and why it makes a difference? Now, Toggle sets up this as a story on their homepage. So they have 3 parts to it. They set up the problem at the top with the pain points in the video. They provide the solution in the middle with actionable item to learn more and start using the app right away. And they provide results down at the bottom. So it's a great short story right here on their homepage, makes it very clear what they do and who they do it for and why it would make a difference to you. Bite-sized content is another way of positioning your site to inform your audience. So you want simple, scannable pages that provide information in a very clear way. And this allows your user to drill down for more details. So on Big Duck's service page, they parse all their services out into bite-sized chunks, and each one is a link to a deeper page where you can get more in depth and learn more about what they do, look at case studies, read testimonials, Again, this is very SEO friendly, very Google friendly, the way they've set their content up. And it's a good user experience as it guides people through their site. Being an expert is another way to inform your audience. So this is providing a knowledge base and providing it in a way that allows people to dig in deeper to what you do. So this is through blog posts, case studies, testimonials. Toggle does this with their blog posts. They do a very good job at creating many blog posts a year that revolve around their app. Not talking about the product, but talking about all of the issues that revolve around time tracking itself. So productivity, efficiency, life-work balance. So they're establishing themselves as an expert in this market area. Big Duck does it in a similar way with their deep and rich case studies. So as you dive into these, they tell you how they've positioned their clients to be successful by all the services that they offer. Engaging your audience. So once you've captured their attention, you've informed them about what you do, they understand what you do. Now you want to give them a way to engage with you. And this is done through action items and by making sure that you're not creating any content cul-de-sacs on your site. And I'll explain that in a moment. So action items can be anything. They can be signups. They can be calculators. They can be social sharing, chat features, downloads, and free trials. So, for example, on Toggle's blog posts, they provide 2 action items at the top. One is try Toggle, which is in a universal position. You're going to see that on any blog page. And then they provide a contextual action item, which is the ability to share this blog post on multiple social media channels. And this feature actually follows you down the page. So at any point along the way, you can send this article out on your Twitter feed or on your Facebook page. Down at the bottom of this blog post page, Toggle provides 3 more actionable points. So when you're done reading the blog post, you can try their product, you can read other related articles, or you can subscribe to this blog post feed and it'll come right to your inbox. Content cul-de-sacs. What that means is on any given page in your site, you want an actionable item so that somebody can move to the next step. You don't want to get them to the bottom of an informational page and leave them nowhere to go or nothing to do. So you want to give users a reason to stay on your site and take action. Big Duck does this through their social media sharing on their case studies. Again, this follows you down the page. And at the bottom of their case studies page, after they've told you all about the success of this client and given you some real data and a testimonial, they provide a way to look at related services, other success stories. And they've also provided a contact form down here at the bottom. So if you're convinced by the time you read this testimonial, here's a way to get in contact with them right away. Now they've gone one extra step in that they've personalized these contact forms. So they have many different case studies on their site. This one happens to be about a client that operates in the educational space, and they've customized this contact form to speak directly to people who operate in that space, which I think is a very clever thing to do, very personalized. So to sum up, you want to attract people to your website. You want to keep them there through thoughtful design and quality imagery. You want to inform them with a well-crafted, unique value proposition, bite-sized content, establishing yourself as an expert through your content, and you want to engage them through multiple action points strategically placed on your site, and by making sure that you're not creating any cul-de-sacs on your site, that every time they land on a page, they have something that they can take action on. So at this point, we're going to open up the webinar to questions and answers. So hopefully you've been putting in your questions in the chat box along the way. And now we're going to take some time to answer those questions.
Yeah, we've actually gotten quite a few good questions here. So I'm going to let Alicia ask the first question.
All right. Feel free to type your questions in too right now, guys, as we go, and I'll read them out loud to Bill and Justin and myself. So the first question we have here is for Bill, and it's, should I expect a photographer to come up with the ideas for creative headshots or behind the scene photos? Bill, do you want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. By all means, you should bring up to your photographer uh, any questions you may have as far as creative headshots or behind the scenes photos. But ultimately, you're going to be the one that knows most what the branding standards are for your business, the type of culture you have. So that's going to lend itself to whatever type of images you're going to use, whether it be headshots or behind the scene photos. Uh, a good photographer obviously will be able to help you to bring all that out. So it's really a matter of having a connection with a photographer that is willing to go beyond just taking the images, that's willing to ask you the questions that need to be asked as far as, what are your branding standards? What is the culture of your business? And then they can absolutely help you to cultivate whatever that is through photos.
Um, Next question is for Justin. And what type of budget do I need for a website? Can we work with our current website and improve it?
Oh, absolutely. I think part of what I do is helping clients evaluate their current marketing and decide whether or not they can utilize their current site with some changes in their content, and possibly even their branding, or whether they would be better for them to, start from scratch. But I take each one of those on an individual basis. So it'd be kind of tough to answer the question in a general sense of, what should your budget be? It really depends on, what your needs are, um, what your budget limitations are. And I'm pretty adept at working within clients' budgets. So it depends on what you're looking to do and how far you want to take it.
Okay, and a question for the social media. So for myself, someone is asking, with the recent Facebook algorithm changes, what does this mean for paid ads on social media? And so yes, recently, about 2 weeks ago, Facebook did come out with a algorithm change, and this means that organic reach is down even farther. So what this means is you should be using paid ads even now more than ever. Facebook is diminishing the exposure that business pages and publishers especially are getting for free, and they want to serve up meaningful content to the right people. So if you do paid ads and you think about your targeting and your ad copy, if you put thought into it, you're going to reach the right people with paid ads. Now is the time, if you haven't started, to reach more people. Just because of the recent announcements with the algorithm. Okay.
So now we'd like to tell you about a special offer that we alluded to at the beginning of the webinar, and talk a little bit more about, okay, so now that you've got all of this great information, what's the next step? So we'd like to offer the next step as the Marketing Essentials Evaluation Package. Well, what is that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Bill, Alicia, and I are in a position to help you evaluate your current marketing and put together a personalized marketing evaluation and action plan for your business. So what comes in the package?
Okay, well, with my end of it, I'm going to help you to improve your image SEO and rank higher on search pages. So what does that mean? Well, basically, I'm going to help you to establish SEO tags for use on your online images, kind of point out whatever areas may be lacking in that. I'll be able to give you recommendations for SEO marketing consistency. And finally, I'm going to give you a little bit of guidance towards your image branding standards.
Okay, so part of the evaluation is to help you get started with Facebook ads and gain those new sales. So what I am able to offer you with this evaluation for the webinar attendees is we're going to get you set up, working with myself, we're going to get you set up on an ad account in your business manager. We're going to help you create those target audiences so you know you're reaching the right people. And we're going to put together that Facebook ad budget for you so you know how much you should be spending to see the proper results.
And as a final part of that evaluation package, I'm going to help you position your website in order to turn visitors into customers. Well, what does that include? It includes recommendations to improve your visual design, assistance with creating your unique value proposition, a very important part of your site, and also suggestions for engagement points on your website.
So tell me, how much would that cost?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Normally, this kind of evaluation from the three of us individually would be well over $999. But because we want to offer this to the folks who have signed up for this webinar, we are offering it at the special price of $497. Now, that is an incredible deal because you're getting the experience and power of an entire marketing firm for less than $500. Now, this evaluation is going to be helpful to you in regards to what action steps do you need to take for your marketing to enhance it, to bring more business into, through your doors. So this is an incredible deal. You only have until next week, January 31st, to take advantage of it. We do have limited spaces available for these signups. So,
where do I sign up?
Where do you sign up? You sign up at marketingessentialswebinar.com /evaluation. Alicia has also put that link in your chat window so you can click on it directly there. And it just takes a few minutes to sign up. You'll get a confirmation email and you'll be well on your way to figuring out how to enhance and strengthen your marketing.
An awesome deal. Well, that brings us to the end of our webinar. I want to take one last second to once again thank Automated Business Solutions for the use of their facilities for us to put on this webinar, and be on lookout for the email over the next couple of days where you'll get the recorded version of this webinar should you have any need to go back and re-listen to some of what we talked about. And we hope to see you as far as some of the evaluations coming up. Hopefully you'll take advantage of that. Thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.